What has your manager asked you to do that you outright refuse to do? 3. She walked into my office and put something on my desk. As she was turning to leave, I asked what she wanted me to do with it. Her answer was, "Oh, it's the title to my brother's motorcycle, but he gave it to me, so you just have to notarize the signatures." "Sure, when is he coming in to sign it over to you?" "Oh, he's not. He lives on the other coast, so I'm just going to sign it for him." "Sorry, but I can't notarize a forged signature. I could go to jail for that." "What? You're being ridiculous. You will notarize it." So I just shrugged and said that there was no way I was going to do it. Well, she flipped out, grabbed paperwork off of my desk and threw it all over the floor, stomped out to the reception desk, and again threw all the papers from that desk all over the floor out there. It was a really small office, but there was no way I was going to clean up the mess that lunatic bitch made. Long story short, I walked around the papers on the floor for 2 days. On the third day the papers were back on the respective desks, and I left that company shortly after. She was a real weirdo, and life's too short to put up with such bullshit. 4. I once did maintenance for a guy that was a true slumlord in Gainesville, Florida. I was the only one that had a HVAC license in the whole company, and he was using my license to buy Freon and to legally evacuate and recycle extracted Freon. The guy was so cheap that he only owned one Freon pump and vacuum pump. He wouldn't even spend the money to buy a good set of gauges, and I just used my own, but I refused to bring my pumps and tanks to work because they're expensive and I knew he wouldn't replace them. Anyway, I was out on a job that was fairly remote and needed to evacuate system to do repairs. I called and asked if they could send the equipment out to me rather than me having to drive approximately 45 minutes back to the shop. The answer I got was no, and that they were using it at another job. Keep in mind that I'm the only one licensed to handle Freon, and if I needed it then I could just evacuate the Freon into the air. Well, first off, that's completely illegal and would cost me my license if I was caught. Secondly, it's just plain unethical and I refused to do it. I flat refused and was told that if I didn't want to do that to leave the job and he would send somebody else out to do it. At this point I not only flat refused, I quit as soon as I got back to the shop. I then called the EPA and reported him, and also made sure to let all the HVAC suppliers in the area know that they were no longer allowed to use my license for refrigerant purchases or anything else. When he tries to purchase Freon and found out that he could no longer buy it, he completely flipped out and called me, cussing me out as it was the middle of summer in the middle of the Florida swampland. He was having to contract the work out to HVAC companies now, and they really didn't like him, so they were bending him over big time. Then on top of that he was investigated by the EPA and hit with huge fines. I have no regrets.